A soldier is considered to have good strength and a cook to have a good palate. Likewise, there is a certain ability that naturally follows when talking about a job. Then, what qualification does an air traffic controller need? I believe this video can give a chance for people preparing to be controllers to understand their tasks, and at the same time for the current controllers to look back at themselves with 5 qualifications to be a good controller. It will be helpful for us if you leave comments after watching the video. 1. Multitasking. What do you come up with when you think of multitasking? Like juggling using hands and feet, you'll think of a person who does many things at the same time. One who has not experienced the controller's task will question why a controller who seems to sit at one place holding a mic needs to multitask. Do you really think so? Let's have a look at that tower controller. Do you really think that he is just repeating his work sitting peacefully in one place? He doesn't only deal with taking off or landing clearance. He has to comprehensively consider the aircraft's situation on the ground, the position of the approaching aircraft, the traffic transitioning control zone, runway condition, bird activity, etc. At the same time, incessantly thinking of which aircraft he will give priority to. That's not all. He gasps little noise from frequency, calls from walkie-talkies, and malfunction of the radar equipment. Besides, he has to continuously communicate with other controllers about the traffic information. Considering that one controller has to take care of dozens of aircrafts, we should definitely say that the tower controller is a top multitasker. What happens if a person who does not easily notice other situations when he is lost in thought, or is fixed at the same spot with one issue, becomes a controller? If the 2 aircraft are approaching without proper separation, these people will only focus on resolving this single situation and will not be able to issue instructions or information that should be provided in a timely manner to many other aircrafts. 2. Language ability. Pilots often don't understand the intentions of what the controller is trying to say. How nice would it be if body language is possible whenever that happens? However, the way controllers and pilots communicate is through their voices. In other words, controllers should be able to communicate only by voice. Anyone whose pronunciation is unclear, who stammers heavily, whose speaking speed is too fast or slow, whose voice tone feels very unpleasant, will also have difficulty communicating with pilots. Conversely, anyone with a reliable voice, clear pronunciation, or appropriate speed of speech gives pilots confidence and comfort. Also, when dealing with foreign pilots, not with the same country people, it would be perfect if they had English skills sufficient to communicate under any circumstances. 3. Quick adaptation. There is no right answer for every control situation. There is only the best judgment of the controller at every moment. This is why machines cannot replace control. You have to experience countless unexpected traffic situations and abnormal situations, but competent controllers rather quickly identify risk factors in complex and dangerous situations. They can also quickly determine the tasks that need to be dealt with first. This ability plays a divisive role in preventing accidents and in solving complex situations that occur instantly. In normal traffic situations, some people are good at making decisions, but are confused about what to solve first when there is a busy and urgent situation. When these controllers are in a busy situation, all of their fellow controllers get nervous. 4. Stamina. Why should we build up our stamina for control work where mental labor is considered more important than physical labor? Except for some airports that do not operate 24 hours a day, all controllers will take shifts. Irregular living patterns caused by shift work can easily lead to sleep disorders and lack of exercise, and physical management is necessary for control tasks that require people to sit for a long time and even endure physiological phenomena. Otherwise, they may be in poor physical condition. It is not easy to withstand high-intensity mental labor that requires instant concentration in a tired state, which in turn has a profound adverse effect on one's ability to work. If you don't do physical exercise on a normal basis, mental stress can be expressed as a disease on your body, or you may be too tired to do anything after work. 5. Service mind. For example, suppose you are traveling with a guide in an unfamiliar place. However, if the guide is not explaining your question well, in an unfriendly manner, or simply says whatever they want without any consideration, then your travel will be ruined. Controllers play the same role as this guide for pilots. This is not a self-centered work, but it has to care about others. But some controllers directly express their bad emotions and give attitude when they are in a bad mood, or just say whatever they want even though pilots do not understand. Controllers ought to make pilots feel comfortable and not anxious, but those who lack a service mind become the ones who make pilots nervous. Even if the 4 abilities described above are excellent, you can never be a good controller without a service mind. The controller doesn't start with all the qualities they need. Some have excellent skills, while others seem to lack the skill to be hired as controllers. But within months or years, their assessment of competence will change based on their attitude toward the job. Even if you are a person with excellent skills, it is not easy to become a good controller if you do not know what you are lacking and do not have an attitude to constantly develop. I hope that your ability as a controller with a great attitude will shine even more. Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. ATC for you.